I'm Monica Lopez. I'm going to be talking about identity fraud. Did you know, according to the 2013 Identity Fraud Report, more than 12 million people became victims of identity fraud in 2012? I'm sure all of us at some point have worried about identity fraud, whether it's looking over our shoulders when putting in our PIN numbers or shredding up personal information. Identity fraud has crossed our minds. The United States Department of Justice website states that in one notorious case of identity theft, the criminal was able to acquire more than $100,000 of credit card debt, obtain a home loan, brought home motorcycles and handguns in the victim's name. This knowledge made me want to learn more about it and to help others prevent becoming victims. I will explain ways identity fraud occurs, ways of prevention, and what you should do if you become a victim. Let's start by identifying the most common ways of identity fraud occurring. Many people do not realize how easy it is for criminals to obtain our personal information without breaking into our homes. One way is in public places. Criminals might be shoulder surfing, which is when they watch over your shoulder while you're putting in information like your PIN number, or if you're giving your credit card number over the phone. Another way is dumpster diving. They do this to obtain copies of your credit card or bank statements or any other documents that include your name or address or even telephone number. With the growing popularity of the internet, it has become an appealing place for criminals to obtain personal information. Many people will open spam mail that says that they've won some kind of prize, but they have to give their personal information like a credit card number or their social security. So these are some steps you can take to prevent identity fraud. The United States Justice Department urges people to remember SCAM to avoid identity frauds. S stands for being stingy about giving our personal information to others unless you have a reason to trust them for whatever reason. For example, when your credit card company may ask for your mother's maiden name, people shouldn't ask you for this because their security questions should be on file and you wouldn't have to answer any of those questions. And always be sure that you're talking to the right person and not somebody that's just anybody that wants to learn your information. And if somebody calls you about winning a major prize and they need your social security number, just be suspicious about it. C stands for check your financial information regularly. This means check your monthly statements and check for any foreign transactions. A stands for ask periodically for a copy of your credit reports. The credit report lists all your banks and financial accounts that are under your name. It lets you know if anybody else has opened anything under your name. M stands for maintain a careful and accurate record of your banking financial accounts. So you should retain your monthly statements and checks for at least a year. just so you can dispute any checks that might not be right. Additionally, disclosing of documents containing personal information is important, such as you can shred your reports, or you can even burn them so that other people don't find them. If you think you're a victim of identity fraud, you should act immediately. You should report identity fraud by contacting all creditors, cancel any accounts, stop payments that are pending, get a new ATM card, change your PIN number, or you can contact the Federal Trade Commission to report the situation. You can call them by phone, and the Federal Trade Commission states an identity theft report gives you some important rights that can help you recover from the theft. You can also visit www.justice.org to see a complete list. Texas is ranked the 4th in the highest identity theft and the complaint rate. So the next time you are entering your PIN number, watch out for shoulder surfers. Remember to use scam in your daily life to prevent becoming a victim of identity fraud. Does anybody have any questions?
Yes, I have a question. Is it safe to pay my bills online?
It's safe if you use accredited and authorized website. So just be sure that you're using the right kind of website, because there's mock sites that look exactly like a real site, so you just have to make sure that it's authentic. Anybody else?
Yeah, I have a question. Do I have to use a shredder to shred my papers, or can I use scissors to cut up all my papers?
Well, if you use a shredder, it's more time efficient, and you can get a shredder that shreds them into really small pieces, so that it's going to be pretty much impossible to put the pieces back together. So I recommend a shredder. Anything else?
Yeah, I have another question. Is there any way to make my computer screen more private?
Yeah, you can get a privacy screen, which makes the screen so it's darkened and you can only see it if you're directly in front of it. But also just be aware of people that can be around watching. But with the screen, unless you're directly in front of it, they're not going to be able to see what you're doing. Hope you enjoyed my presentation.